We are doing a training today about content cadence, which is basically the process on how to show up on social with systems and consistency. All right, so the most important pieces that we're going to be going over today are going to be the steps for you to be able to show up with consistency and have results driven with your content. So if you are wanting to get on social to build your business and you just are overwhelmed, don't know how, I'm going to show you the process that we use in pretty much all of our businesses to show up on social, to generate business, to build that authority and everything that looks like. So we're going to go over what your goal is, right? Get more clients, build relationships, educate community or clients, become an expert in your field, show client appreciation. What does that look like? And then who and why are you going to be creating this content? The next thing we're going to talk about is picking your 3 pillars. Your pillars are going to be the categories of what kind of content you're going to create and what are you going to say? What are you going to post? Then we're going to talk about different templates. So creating a cohesive aesthetic, having templates ready for you to typo there, be able to edit and easily create this content when it's time to do so. And then what does batching all of this content and how you're going to put it up look like? So planning the content, creating the content, and then scheduling the content. So again, the process of planning, creating, and scheduling the content while batching it is going to help you make this process seamless and really easy to do consistently. So the first part is going to be, what's your goal? This is the first thing that you need to figure out, right? Do you want to use social media? Most people do for these reasons, but you need to decide what those look like. Is it just to get more clients? Are you looking to generate your own leads? What type of leads? Are you personal lines, life, health, all the things? Is it business? What does that kind of look like in regards to what type of clients you want? Do you want to build more relationships? I'm going to show you the categories that I've picked and what I use. You can absolutely copy those, but thinking about this of what is your end goal when we are looking to build this process? Do you want to use the platform to be able to educate the people that are following you, the community that you're in, your clients regularly, so you keep showing up as that authority or expert? Do you want to use the platform also to showcase clients, to show client appreciation, so there's a retention factor there? And then figuring out who and why you are creating this content for. It's really important, and I know you hear me talk about this all the time, but you need to know who your ideal client is. Again, doesn't mean we won't write business for other people that are not necessarily fitting into the ideal client, but we want to be focused and intentional about who it is we're trying to attract and what type of clients we want to work with. So who's your ideal client? What are their pain points when it comes to working in this industry and with your products and with the services that you provide? What are their pleasure points? Where are they trying to go? What do they actually want to achieve? How is your service or product going to solve problems that they have? What are the demographics? What do they like to do? Do they like to eat certain things? What do they like to do for fun? Do they like to travel? Do they like to be outdoors? What do they like to watch or read, etc.? That's really important for you to know about your ideal client so that you can create content that's going to attract them and feel like they resonate with and then want to do business with you, right? Also, it's a way for you to showcase the things that you enjoy. And when they relate to that, they're going to feel like they know you. They're going to feel like they like you. And that's really going to build a huge piece of them wanting to do business with you. So making sure you know what that goal is. Once you know what that goal is, you're going to pick 3 pillars. I suggest using 3, definitely no more than 5. And your pillars are basically the categories of what you're going to show up constantly to talk about, to share, to write about, to show graphics about, to do video about. What content are you going to be creating? And you want to pick these categories to show up regularly and talk about over and over. You're going to be talking about a little bit different versions of each thing, but the more you are consistent about showing up and using these pillars to your advantage, one, it really helps you create the content and gives you where to start. But also, people need to hear things 6, 7, 8, 9, 100 times sometimes. And the more you can repeat yourself about these things, the more it's going to keep showing that you're the authority, you know what you're talking about, you're kind of not going anywhere. This is what you do, right? People start memorizing things about you. Is there anyone you follow that you feel like You know them, you trust them, you like them, you resonate with things they talk about or they use often when it comes to their social media. And you can basically say, oh, this person loves to drink this type of coffee because they talk about it or share about it all the time, right? So here an example of the 3 pillars that I use for our insurance agency. The first one is going to be, I have a goal to build referral partners. Okay, Cass. Referral partnerships, right? I want to build a relationship to gain more referrals from professionals, businesses, and people who have a clientele or an audience that I want to work with based on who my ideal client is. The second pillar that I have is to be an authority. So I'm going to showcase knowledge and expertise that I have, maybe in my niche, to attract people that I want to work with or that want to work with me based on my ideal client, ICA's ideal client avatar. So an example of that might be giving out business tips, maybe talking about business insurance, maybe talking about how to do better in marketing for your business, because my niche is commercial insurance. And the third pillar is going to be to showcase the agency. We want to build the know, like, trust factor. So if you can show them behind the scenes, things that are unique about you, things that are unique about clients that you have, the products that you sell, things about your team, so they know they're not just robots, they're humans, right? They will have things that resonate with those team members. Social proof, so testimonials, reviews, results that you've been able to get for people, so that then when they see that, they're like, I want to get those results. I want to get to that pleasure point like we were talking about before, and why people should want to work with me or with you. Why are we different maybe than the next person down the street they could do business with and maybe get the same products or services from? And what values do we have? What things do we believe in? How do we show up that is going to make somebody, again, see that and say, wow, I'd really like to work with this person, or I believe in these things too. And that's going to make them, again, maybe reach out to you because of that. So you're going to want to decide what your goal is and who your ideal client is, and then decide what 3 categories can you talk about often. First of all, confidently. Secondly, do you have the knowledge about this? And even if you might not have the knowledge in this, you can research and you can get some of that done. But knowing that whatever pillars or categories you choose are going to be the type of content and the type of things that are going to help you attract and get to that end goal of what it is that you're trying to do. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to choose the aesthetic of what you want your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to look like, your LinkedIn, whatever platform that you're using. What do you want that to look like? You definitely want to have a cohesive look to that platform. And I would say even across several platforms, depending on what you're using. If you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere else that I have content, you're going to see I use the same brand colors, the same fonts, the same accents. I do have accents here twice, but I would say you can use 2, maybe 3 to 5 accents. So I'm sorry, you got 2 neutral colors you want to use and about 2 accent colors. That's what this means. And then about 3 fonts. So if you look here, this is just a quick screenshot of what my brand kit looks like in Canva. I will be showing you a little bit behind the scenes of Canva, which is what we use to do everything. Everything we print in our business, everything we use for social media, all of my training decks and presentations. I mean, everything you can think of, even all the videos that I use to promote certain things are all done through Canva. And then you'll see some of the logos that I have saved that I can quickly add to things. So I will show you a little bit of behind the scenes there, but you'll see I do have a lot of colors because these are all the colors for all my businesses, but I really truly use this kind of blush pink, black, white, grays, and then I have some accents of like the green, and I have some blues and things like that. So you want to have 2 neutral colors, which for me is black and white, and some gray, and then the accents are going to be the blush pink, this kind of green color, and some blue. Because I create so much content, I do have a little bit more than what I'm suggesting here, but you can always add on. I don't want to overwhelm you, so I only want you to kind of pick 2 of each. And then you're going to want to pick the fonts that you're going to use regularly. I use different fonts here and there, but for the most part, these are the fonts that we use. And what's going to happen is the more you're consistent with your brand aesthetics, people are going to recognize your brand when they're scrolling, when they engage with you more often, and it's really going to build that cohesive look that's going to also attach to all the things that you talk about. Then once you decide what that is, you're going to want to come up with templates. Your templates are going to be about 4 types, maybe 3 types if you picked 3 pillars, 5 pillars. I would say 4 pillars. Based on the pillars, you're going to pick the templates of what you want to talk about. In each template, in each type, you're going to have 3 to 5 different templates in those categories, which I'm going to show you an example of. So just looking here, this is what we have for our weekly content that we create. And you'll see that I have a category of doing a quote. I will show behind the scenes. I do a Facebook event or Instagram live. We promote the podcast. We do a category to help with quick tips, like a 3-step process or something like that. And then we do something called a micro blog, which I will explain in a minute. And then we usually promote something in whatever business. Right now it's showing the Collective, which is a membership we just launched in our Unburden Your Business and Female Insurance Agency Owner group. So we know that this is launching. That's what we're going to talk about. And this is where we create all of our content for the week, but we do it on a monthly basis. Again, I will show you that. The best thing to do in order to figure out what your aesthetics should kind of be is to create a mood board. You can create this mood board in Canva. You can create it in Pinterest in a board. You can kind of scrapbook and create kind of like a vision board of the colors you want to use, the fonts, and then these accents. So these accents are going to be like extra little graphics. Like we use hearts, we use arrows, we use different like splotches of, background graphics or different things like that, which you will kind of see in a lot of the content that I use just to give it some extra zhuzh and pizzazz, right? And we want to stay consistent with whatever that looks like as well. So let's just take a look here of an example. We mentioned that we like to do quotes. Quotes go out every single week at a particular time, which I will show you what that looks like as far as a schedule. But you'll see here in this group, I have a bunch of templates that we just go in and edit when it's time to create content for the quotes. So this is one of them. The next one's going to look like this. You probably have seen these when you follow me on social, maybe even recently. Another quote template we use. So all we got to do is come in here and change the actual text of what it says, right? So what you're going to want to do is create 3 to 5 of these in each category or each pillar that you have so that you are consistently using the same categories, but when it goes up on social, it looks a little bit different. So it's not always the same thing over and over and over. However, there are some Instagram accounts, for example, that do use the same templates over and over and will actually, give me one sec. Let me make sure that I'm sharing this. I just realized it's not sharing. Hold on a second, folks. All right, here we go. So like I said, these are like the quote templates that we have. All we have to do is go in here and edit either the what it says. So it has the fonts already. It has the colors kind of that we use. And so there are some Instagram accounts, for example, like I mentioned, that are going to have the same thing over and over. And that's okay too, if that's what you want to use. It'll give you a very cohesive look, but I recommend using a little bit different things so that it doesn't always look the same. So let's go back now that you've seen that example. All right, so I'm going to show you an example of what our flow chart looks like, but the idea is that we're going to have some type of schedule. And that schedule is going to tell us exactly what feed posts we're going to be putting, which is going to be the actual feed of your social media. So it's not going to be in your stories or your reels or things like that. It's literally a post that's going into your feed of what people are going to see when they're scrolling the feed of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, what have you. Then you're going to have stories as an option of type of content. And then you're going to have video, which can be lives, reels. You can even, instead of a live, if you have a pre-recorded video, you can upload that into, let's say, Instagram or IGTV. You can upload it into Facebook, as a reel, or as a live, or whatever that looks like. So there's 3 ways to create content on social. It's going to be your feed, stories, or video, reels, lives, TikToks, things like that. The most important thing is to do, just to keep it simple for you, you can always add more content, but when you're batching this and planning this, you want to make each thing same day, same category with a different template, right? And I'm going to show you some ways that we do this so that you can kind of put it together. But all the content that you're going to plan for a post, for stories, for any kind of video has to have copy. Copy is going to be the written words of what you want people to read or go through, that's going to give them information about why you did this post, what you're trying to say. There should be hashtags that you use to then attract your ideal client or the person that it is that you're wanting to work with. And then the CTA, which CTA just stands for call to action. Every single post you have should have a call to action, like comment below with your answer, check out this link, stay tuned for this, go to my stories, go to my link, go to my bio, whatever that looks like, follow for more. They should have some type of call to action to keep people staying with you and engaged. So let's take a look at this real quick. So I can't take credit for this, but this is what our content cadence flowchart looks like. What we did is we wrote that we want to do a feed post on Instagram and Facebook, and then we picked all of our pillars, and then we scheduled them in. So every single Monday, we post a quote. Every single Wednesday, we do behind the scenes. And we've also weaved in here some information about me. Maybe it's about, a new outfit, new digs, kids, holidays, like you can see. And this is really building that know, like, and trust factor, building that authority and that consistency. Every Sunday, we do a picture of me with a microblog. A microblog is just a smaller version of a long blog, but there's going to be a lot more text and a lot more copy in the post. On Fridays every week, we use some type of quick tip, which we like to use the carousel version or multiple photos, graphics, so someone can scroll and look at each tip. Then the next thing we did is we created a schedule for Reels and not VTTV, IGTV, maybe going live. And so you'll see every Monday I will go live or create information that's educational. I will then every other week on Monday, I'll do educational. Every other week on Monday, I'll do something fun and relatable that gets people to, again, feel like they know me and they like me. I'll do a training and then maybe some information. I'll go live or do a reel about, things that were asked of me, Q&As, things that I know like the back of my hand, maybe create like a guide. And again, this is that educational piece that we're putting in and trying to attract through some fun and relatable content for people to want to follow us. And then stories. What do I actually post on stories? You're going to want to post 3 to 5 stories every single day. Maybe not on the weekends if you don't want to, that's okay. But a lot of people are on social on the weekends, so I do recommend it. But I try to have some type of system and schedule for that so you can plan ahead. If you know you're going on trips, you're going to a conference, you're going to be meeting with a particular business, you can then showcase some of that stuff knowing that it's coming up. But on Mondays, I'll post my weekly docket, basically saying like, hey, what have I got on my schedule for this week? As a business owner. Maybe Tuesdays I am, tagging people, collaborating with people, trying to tap into their audience on my stories, maybe sharing some things that they do so I can showcase them. Because when you tag people in your stories and you share it, they're likely going to reshare it to their stories, and then you get in front of their audience. So many times I have found people by following someone and them sharing something and me being like, oh, who's that? What do they do? On Wednesdays, kind of update them on the process, any kind of behind the scenes, kind of update them on what I said I was doing for the week, how it's going, sharing any trainings that I did on Fridays, and then Thursdays, and then Fridays, kind of recapping my week. Do I have any extra plans for the weekend? Any favorite moments that came up through the week? So this just gives you an idea of exactly how we plan out what content based on our pillars goes on what day, and it happens the same every single week and every single month. So why is this important? I'm going to show you right now. Don't forget to let me know in the comments. If you have questions, just comment #questions so I can find it at the end. So like I said, feed, post, stories, reels, lives, Instagram, or you can upload things if you would like to. And then we have that schedule, right? So the next piece is we have this schedule. How do we batch the process? So on week 1, what we do, first week of the month, is we plan. We plan out why we want to say something, what do we want to say, what does the graphic look like for that, and use your pillars to decide what to post, what to say, and the action that you want them to take, right? So week 1, I sit down with a person that does this for me. I used to do it myself, but now I have somebody because I taught them this process. And we say, okay, what's coming up for this next month? So we sat down last week and planned for March. We said, okay, in March, here's what's going on. Here are our pillars, and this is what we want to post. We planned all that out and we created the copy and kind of what photos we might want to use, what's important for us to talk about. This week, we sat down and we decided that we're going to have the content created. So we looked based off the plan that we made here, what graphics are we using? What graphics do we need to maybe edit? We also have templates for all the different categories, and then we'll add the copy to that. Once we're done with that, we will store it somewhere that we can access when it's time to schedule, which will be in week 3. So we use Monday. I'm going to pull that up really quickly so that you can see how we track. You guys know I love me some Monday.com. So let me actually go into March content. So you can see every week, all we do is copy this because we have the same things that we post every single week. Obviously, each thing in here is going to be different, but what will happen is we'll put the file in here for any graphics we put, what the quote might be for that week, when are we going to post this, who's working on it, etc. And then we might take a look at some other things if we think that's important. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and if there's a month that has a 5th week, we'll put it in there. You can see every week it's exactly the same, right? So I kind of showed you this in what we use back here, which I will get to. Go back so you can see it. Oh, there it is right there. This is what we do every single week on social. And then you can share this at different times on different platforms. So it doesn't always feel like you're posting the same quote on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but you have different people that follow you on different platforms. And I would highly recommend that if you're just starting out, you focus on one platform, get really good at that first, and ensure that that's the platform that your ideal client is hanging out on. Right? So if I know I'm trying to get business owners in a type of industry, do they hang out more on Facebook, maybe Facebook groups or different things like that? Or are they more on Instagram? Are they more on LinkedIn? It's going to depend on that. And that's where you really want to focus your time before you start adding a whole bunch of other platforms. But it's also really easy to have several platforms when you are batching this process. And when you go to schedule. So week 3 is going to look like scheduling. And that's when you're going to log into a scheduler. We use later.com. You're going to upload graphics. You're going to copy and insert the copy. You're going to add the hashtags and you're just going to schedule, right? So this way, 1 week you're doing the plan. 2nd week, you're actually creating the content, which does take a little bit more time, but you really have all of this planned out already. So that shouldn't be too difficult. And week 3, you're just going in to input everything into a scheduler and have it all scheduled out for the entire month. So next week, by the middle of next week, we will have everything scheduled out for March already ready. And the best thing for you to do, whether it's you or someone who's maybe managing your social media or someone you can delegate this to, that if you know you're posting the quote every Monday at, let's say, 11 a.m., you're going to want to go in there and have them engage. People are going to be liking and people are going to be commenting, and you want to go back in on every comment, respond, even if it's just a heart, and like every comment because it's important for you to engage. People like to see that, and it's authentic, and it shows that you're building a community. It shows that you're showing up and you're just posting a bunch of stuff, right? Also, you're going to want to share that quote you posted in the feed to your stories, which will give you one of the stories out of the 3 to 5 that you're doing daily to be able to have some stories generated. When people follow you, you're going to show up on their stories as one of the first people. And the more they engage in your stories, the more they're going to show up there. So I'm sure if you follow certain people, you're constantly always seeing kind of the same stories pop up in the front section of like the story row. That's because you are engaging with those people the most. If you don't engage with them anymore, they're going to go to the back and you won't see them as much. So it's important that you have that. So we're going to go back that you want to know what the goal is. What's the end goal? What are you trying to do with this? Pick your pillars that'll help align with that goal and get you there. Then you're going to want to decide the aesthetics. It's not about deciding the aesthetics first. I think a lot of people do that and they focus on that in the beginning and they don't really create the plan of what they're trying to do. And then what is the content cadence flowchart? What is that going to look like once you have your pillars? And how do you batch that content and schedule it so you can keep showing up consistently? Consistency is going to trump the actual amazingness of every piece of content that you have. You'll get better at creating better content, but when you can keep showing up consistently and planning and creating and scheduling and engaging, you'll have better ideas of what people like and you'll be able to see the analytics of that. So just for all you amazing people, we have 50 free templates that you can get with Canva. Canva is what I showed you where we get all of our templates and where we create everything. So I think that if I click on this, it's going to take me there. It is. Let me show you a little bit of what those templates kind of look like. I know some of you have already used this. That's great. I will put the link in the comments too as soon as we're done to be able to get access to this. But these are some of the templates that you're going to see that you can use. And what's great about them is that you can quickly edit them to your colors, your font, what you want to say, or you can use these however you want, right? But just make sure you put your name here, your website, all of that, and make sure that it's usable for you. Don't just post this. We want you to edit it and make it yours. All of these pictures are editable, all of that once you use Canva. Canva is free. The pro version is about $13 a month. I am not affiliated with them whatsoever, but it is the best investment you'll ever have in your business. It's insane. They have so many templates, so many things, and YouTube for Canva is so easy to use to learn how to do a lot of things. So that's super awesome that I have for you. And again, I will absolutely share the link on how to access that. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to be going through all the comments and everything. But just to recap one more time, because I like to do that. Remember, what's your goal? Getting more clients, building relationships, pick the categories that you want to use. If these are not set in stone, you can go back and do them over again if you realize one's working more and another one isn't, or either you're just not finding joy in creating content for a particular category, you feel like it's really hard. Make sure you're creating the templates in advance. You can always change templates once you get used to Canva, and then having your schedule to plan, create, and schedule those in a way that you can batch it so that you can just quickly bust through everything, schedule it, and not think about whatever piece it is that you had to do during that week again until the next month, right?